Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where we review anything and everything. And today we're getting into the unboxing of the EOS R6V. Now, and a few other accessories that you see in front of you here with it, because this is my first venture into mirrorless. So I have pretty much primarily been a photographer, and this was my setup here. This is the Canon EOS 6D Mark II, which I've showed on the channel before, if I'm not mistaken, or at least for the purpose, I've showed it for the purpose of some of these accessories that I have on it. But you know, obviously this camera is an older camera. Now, I decided it's time for me to upgrade things, and perfect timing because the R6V just came out last month. Like literally, I want to say exactly a month ago that it just dropped. And so it's kind of all the rave right now because the price is decent. And for where I'm at in terms of my skill level, it gives me a lot of room to grow. So I'm really excited to jump into it. But obviously, because my first foray into mirrorless, I had to buy a few things to go with it. So here you can see I got the SmallRig additional battery. Their battery is a little cheaper than a Canon battery, but it's the same type. So it should work. Giving me at least two batteries where I can have one that I'm charging, the other one I can while I have it to the camera. I got the cage. Obviously, SmallRig is really killing it with the cages that really match up well with they've always been the king of the cages, but they really match up well with these new bodies where they fit precisely, and they're not just a kind of a ballpark kind of roundabout. They really like grab the cameras like a glove nowadays, which is great because now you don't really even need to remove the cage because it fits as if, you know, where you can still just hold it in your hand. But I'm not really going to be using this camera for photography anyway, so it doesn't matter to me as much. Obviously had to get a CFast card because I do have a regular SD card, but that is not enough for when you start using or utilizing higher, bit rates and you know, codecs and all that other good stuff. SmallRig base plate. I always wanted one of these quick release plate because this is the type where it has like the little feet that come from underneath it. And sorry about that with the lighting. And so I always wanted one of those because when I have like the cage how I have now on my thing right here, when you lay it down, it's putting weight on the lens because it, and with the lens hood right here, it kind of balances out, but otherwise it always tips over. So that will give me the ability to take my little rig and put it down on a table without it flipping over. Needed to get a faster card reader, so I got that. And the Meike, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. This is an adapter from EF to RF mount because I have a bunch of Canon EF glass and obviously no RF glass since I never had a mirrored, a mirrorless camera body. So this is what we're jumping into now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unbox everything individually. And then what I'm going to also do is I'm going to end up taking off some of the items that I have on my previous rig so I can attach to that, because certain things I didn't need to buy extra. And one is the SmallRig top handle. There's the NATO top handle with the NATO rail. So I'm going to detach that. I have the SmallRig side handle with the dual 1/4" screws, which you can see there. And then this right here is the newer camera monitor mount, 1/4". Now, I actually purchased that for holding other accessories, not necessarily a monitor. And I'm still not going to do the monitor thing, at least no time soon that I can think of, because I don't mind my rig being something similar to this, where it's a little more compact. But like I said, so I'm going to remove those off of the main unit. So that way I can attach those onto this build. So let's get into the unboxing. Okay, so let's jump into the EOS R6 unboxing. The manual. Some other Information for setting up Google Photos, Google Drive, connectivity type of stuff, warranty. Let's see what we got here. This is our battery, the LP-E6P. This is the charger. The camera here, I'm just going to put that aside for 1 second and see if there's anything else in here. And the strap, which I'm going to, for the moment, just leave that inside. And I can pretty much put everything else back. All right, and this is the Canon EOS R6V. Okay. You see buttons that come here. Delete, play, info, peaking, zebra, audio status set. This is for the focus points, the Q button, info, 2, 1, these all should be programmable buttons, 3, 5, 6, the modes, color and bitrate menu, 4, and you get the button on the front. All right. And last thing, let me just pop this in and see if this works and if we got any power from it. You also have the quarter mounting screw on the bottom and the side. Okay. Battery might not be charged. All right, so now we're getting into the SmallRig HawkLock quick release cage. This is for the EOS R6V, obviously, for your dream. Got a little booklet that it comes with, warranty information that tells you how to attach things and various other pieces if you want to have other add-ons. Nice soft material to keep it in, similar to what the camera goes in. And here you go. This feels nice and smooth right here. Okay. So this right here is the Pergear memory card, 512 gigabyte. It 3,500 megabytes per second of the read speed, and the write speed is 3,400 megabytes per second. It says master here, whatever that means. Some of the details on the back here. So I was told that this is supposed to be a pretty good card based on my research. All right, let's see. Let me get this open. More stuff to get through. Nice case. All right, and that is the CFexpress by Pergear, 512 gigabytes. And this right here is the Meike, if I'm pronouncing that right, drop-in filter mount adapter. So this one has the ND filter, and this should be the additional non-ND filter. So we're gonna rip this one open. So this is just a container unit. So both of the filters should come inside there. You can see here. Drop-in filter storage. Put that back in there for now. Well, let's see, drop-in filter mount. It says support autofocus, support auto aperture, drop-in filter ND3 to ND500, drop-in clear filter come inside here as well. You can see how it works there, and that is it. Basic information and whatnot. Not sure if that's just a sticker. Optional drop-in filters. You got a couple of different types here. Take a quick look at that. Variable ND 3 to 500. I think that's the one that it comes with. Clear, it comes with that one as well. CPL, Rainbow Star, 4-point star, 6-point star, ND 64, ND 128. Creative effect, white streaks. Okay, so additional things, and it shows you an example down there on the bottom of what that looks like. Some more. This is that same one. Yeah, okay. Some other ones too. And this is the clear. So it already has a case. So this one right here is for holding this one. So it's nice that they give you extra two, but the truth is they could have just gave you that and you swap out. This one's in here for the clear, and then this one right here is for the ND. Really quickly, that's how it looks. I don't like to keep these things open for that long. Okay, and then you got this side here, which should be the regular EF side. So there you go with that. I'm sorry, you guys, another type who wants to really open it up that much in detail. All right, and that is the Meike filters. Well, ND filter and adapter. All right, so this right here is the SmallRig multifunctional Arca-Type quick release plate. That was not easy to open up. Okay, and that is the SmallRig multifunction Arca-Type quick release plate. Okay, so this is the SmallRig for Canon LPE6P battery. It's like a it's an additional battery, but it's SmallRig's branding on it. So a lot of times you'll have the issue where the Canon brand ones are the only ones that work, but in this case, this one should work as if it's Canon brand. Just trying to get this open here. Here we go. A little bit of branding. USB-C for charging, because you can charge directly. And here goes the battery. And I'm a fan of the orange because it's standing out like that means that you'll always know that it is your SmallRig battery. It's actually a little bit higher capacity than the standard battery, which is 21, I think 50 for the Canon one. Yep, and that is the SmallRig LPE6P battery. And this is the high-speed card reader. Let's see if the brand is on here. It is not really saying. There's some of the specs on it. You can just kind of quickly read that for yourself. This is for the CFexpress, and it also does SD card as well. Okay, let's see what we got here. No branding on it. USB-C or regular USB, whichever one you want to use. And you can see it's got two readers there, SD and SD card reader. But it's also CFexpress. So yeah, it says CFexpress B and then SD card reader. Yep. All right, guys, we are back with our accessories and everything. Now that we unboxed everything, and now I'm gonna kind of really go into more detail on talking on everything in it. I just wanted to do those quick unboxings quickly and individualized, and we are going to jump into pretty much everything that we have here. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm actually charging the regular battery. The regular battery seemed to not have any juice. So we're gonna see if this SmallRig battery has some juice in it. And matter of fact, before I even jump into that, well, I mean, I'm gonna put it in there and then we're gonna talk a little bit on the camera. So this kind of for me was the perfect camera to get. I did make a video before ranting about how I didn't think that this camera, let's see if we've got juice. We do have some juice. So let me pause this video and just put in some of those inserts real quick. Okay, so it had this whole thing where you got to put a password in to get set up now, and in addition to that, asks you to connect with the camera app, which is to me a little bit nonsense. That you have to do all that stuff. So I'm not gonna have anything set up in here to know what I'm doing at the moment. So I'm not gonna dive heavy into that, the menu system and all that other good stuff. Let me just click menu just to get an idea of stuff. Don't ask again. This is stupid that we have to do this a password in here. So I don't understand why that would be the case. I get it. It protects your gear to a degree, but at the same time, I think it's a little bit stupid because who's used to dealing with that? So record long gop 20 blah blah blah. I'm just gonna keep it just as is for right now, because if I end up having a chance just to throw the a lens on it, we're just gonna kind of jump into, you know, just running through things. Let me just see how the menu's looking around. Let's just run through all the menu stuff in it. You can pause and read it for yourself. I'm not gonna go through everything. Color mode, image stabilization, blah blah, shooting info. I'm sorry if it blurs out a little bit, if it doesn't focus. Autofocus modes, playback, network function. Everything is so connectivity like right now, even though my 60 Mark II had, but it was a very simple connection thing, not all this extra stuff. This is the file card setup. I'm gonna use this to format the card when I get the card in. There's so many menus now that all this stuff gets so heavy. Like I said, I haven't come to mirrorless. This is my first time coming with a mirrorless. Multi-function, shutter button function for modes, customized controls. I always remember the My menu thing. I don't know if this works that same way, because we used to have, this allows you to custom function the buttons as opposed to having the My menu function, at least my understanding. But I'm sure if it was in camera mode, a lot of these things would change. But and from my understanding, this is not like the same as the cinematic menus, but I think it's like a video menu type of thing. Let's just see how that looks when I come over here now, if it's any different. No, it doesn't seem to be different. So it's all the same thing. Okay, just wanted to be clear on that. Well, there is a bit of difference, because I just saw that it showed the shooting mode and now it's showing video record mode. So there's some aspects of it that's gonna be different. I'll have to later on go through it in detail to kind of see those differences. But for now, we're just gonna turn this off while we got a little bit of power. It says keep the lens cap on after you turn it off. Of course, I'm not doing what some people do in the videos where they they take the lens cap off to show you the sensor. I'm not showing you guys the sensor, so it is what it is. So what we're gonna do right now is, and I love when they come with these little tools and they're magnetized, that is the best. Slides right out. So let's get this inside here, because once I put this in theory, the way I assume it goes is I won't have to take it off ever again, because like I said before, these things kind of work where they slide in a way where everything fits very good. So and you shouldn't have to take off anymore, though I'm having an arm and a leg trouble trying to get it to fit inside there right now, because this over here is supposed to go in here, but let's see. It feels like it should just go like that and then slide right in, but I'm having trouble, and I don't want nothing to like press hard or damage. So this right here, this little piece right here is supposed to slide into this. but it feels like it won't just slide inside. And I feel like this right here is scraping against that, which feels so bad. I'm not gonna lie, it feels really bad. And maybe it's gonna work. There we go. But I'll be honest with you, I don't like the feel of that. Now, I'm glad that this is not something that you have to do too often. You should be able to do it just that one time, that's it. And I'm never gonna take it off there, but I don't like that feel at all. Let me pull this back a little bit. I'm hoping you guys were able to see that on camera, that I was able to get it in, but it's a little hard. So be careful with that, because if you are the type who takes this on and off, it's definitely going to damage the rubber on the side. But the positive thing is that this is designed for you not to have to do that on and off like that all the time. Is this in the wrong spot? It is, so I hope that that didn't give it trouble going in. This is supposed to plug into that quarter mount over there, if I'm not mistaken. And then you would use one of these to plug your thing in. So I'm hoping that shouldn't be a problem going in these, because this was in that hole there when it's supposed to be in here. So I hope that's not what gave me trouble pushing this in. But like I said, the way that was getting it in there, it's definitely gonna start damaging the rubber on your thing if you, you know, take this in and out constantly. So yeah, oh, I was supposed to pull this out. Okay, now I see. Let me just do this just to backtrack so we know how this works. But I hate that now that I did it the way I did it, because I clearly have caused some damage that shouldn't have been. But let me backtrack all of this now, just so you guys know how things work, and that is something that, how that goes. This video is definitely going to be very long, but so I'm sorry about that, guys, but I definitely also want you guys to be able to see these things so you guys know not to make these same mistakes. So when you put this in, don't do it the way I did. You can see there, I damaged my thing a little bit. It's not heavy, but it is, like, you know, it definitely rubbed on the rubber material. And then this right here had pressed against the rubber material as well. So for you guys, just so you know, the proper way to do it. Now, this gets pushed inside. This screw was, like I said, in the wrong area to begin with. So that's going to go in from that angle here. You guys don't need to see this part, so I'm just gonna pause this. Okay, and once again, you guys, I'm glad that you guys get to see what I do and learn from any of my mistakes, because that is the purpose of this. So you can see here the ports. How easy is it to access these ports? Okay, so you're gonna pull it from the center area to get to them. And there you go. So you've got HDMI. I think that's a full HDMI, the way it looks, to be honest, but to me that looks like full HDMI. And USB-C, and what's great about the USB-C is, from my understanding, you can charge the battery when it's off through that, and then you can use it as a pass-through, so it won't charge the battery, but it'll go directly to powering the camera if you are on set and you have that plug. So that, I think, is amazing. We got the mic and the headphone jack, and that's for your wired trigger, which I don't know if anyone uses these days, but I still have one of those old school ones somewhere. So if I need to, I could do that. I'm not a fan of these flaps though. I wish they were like, I don't know, they're okay, but I hope that they don't end up causing me issues down the line. Here is my CFexpress card. Now this right here, like I said, all these items, link is going to be in the description for all of these things for you guys to purchase them if you want to set up your basic rig setup. I've never had to have CFexpress cards before, only SD cards. This thing is expensive. For all you guys who are already in this space, you guys already know I'm the one who's late to the party, but also these things have gone up in price since the time of all this kind of memory stuff. So whereas before that wasn't really the case. I heard some of these cars, and this is like a more like affordable brand. It's almost like the Kia of these things, because it's kind of gotten known, but yet at the same time, a lot of people, it's still brand new, but a lot of people trust it. So that's cool. Let's go over to just formatting the card, just so I have that out of the way. Format card, no card in slot 2. Oh, okay, it's just, I thought I had to move it over. I didn't, it's just letting me know. I'm gonna do that. So now we're formatted. And auto power off, temp. We're just gonna leave it in this, so that way when we go into our video mode, and let's make sure, so we're in like standard video. Let's just do video on this. Let me see what I'm doing, a 30 frames. So let's do that. Your standard 60, and this is exposure compensation. Where's my ISO? I'm sorry, you guys can't even, I'm sorry, I'm looking outside of the screen and you guys can't even see. I'm just trying to adjust to make it that what is that called? The 180 rule. Well, I get 6 hours on this thing. That's actually pretty good. I don't want exposure compensation. I want my ISO. And of course, I don't even know how to do that on here. I'm not used to this at all. I got to program the buttons, I guess. But what are we looking at here? I don't even get ISO. Great. That's just great. So I right now do not know. It has the exposure compensation, but I'm in TV mode, aperture mode. I should have been in manual, but even then, this is giving me exposure compensation and not ISO, so I'm not really too sure. This is going to be 60. Okay, so we'll figure it out. I just want to get a chance to kind of do a little recording once we kind of get into that space, just so you guys can see that things work. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw this on. Okay, so this can go. Let's see if I can align this up correctly, because what you have here is those two. So I got to get one, the big one there and the small one there is, I'm going to assume how it goes. But at the same time, the way these things are, it's kind of weird. You got to kind of line it up. I'll turn this upside down. Definitely kind of awkward trying to get this like this. If I start this, screwing it in a little bit, now I can adjust how I want it. And I think I could go like a little more forward, because I want the heavier end is going to be leaning more towards the lens. And then if I got to put the legs, I can do so out. So I'm going to do it like this. Screw that in pretty tight. I don't need to. You got the piece where you can screw in harder, but I don't need to do all that. This should be fine. It's got the Arca Swiss plating on it like that, but it's not standing very well. But that's only because you definitely need to have the legs out when you're in this mode. But that's what I bought this for. I really wanted something like this for a while. I advise you guys to get it as well. And matter of fact, what I'm going to do right now, I could have done this later, but I'm going to do it right now. I'm just going to read off the prices of all these things so you guys know. The CFexpress card for this company is $28. I'm going to round off to the nearest dollar. Obviously, you guys know the R6V is $2,500. The SmallRig battery is $34. The adapter, this adapter here, is $130 if you guys have your EF glass. And the quick release plate on the bottom that I just set up is $34. And the memory card, the CFexpress, was $248. So just to give you an idea of things. Now, I don't have the price on these things, these other accessories that I told you guys earlier inside the video, but I am going to attach them. I do not have the, like I said before, I do not have the number. I'm sorry, the price on these ones at the moment. And what I'm going to do here is unscrew this, and what this allows is for me to adjust this. It takes 2 of these to unscrew, and this piece here, so this is a little bit odd because normally, and I'm not going to be able to do this now. Let's see if I fold the legs in. That's good enough. I want this to always be, as the height on this is just way too much like this. So what I'm going to do is, let me see if I could lower it. Will it fit if I try to lower it? No, because see, this also is the mounting one for, if I'm not mistaken, that looks like the side mounting screw, like for the the vertical mounting screw. So this wouldn't go inside here. This would go here. At least the best of my knowledge. I think you can plug into it, but this is not made to align with that. So this is very weird for me here because this does not fit. I just want to have this set up so you guys could see it like that, but it doesn't actually fit in the way I always had before, because normally this hit the ground level and that's how it would balance. Now in this setup, it doesn't balance like that because it's free floating. So for that reason, it wouldn't even matter, say if I had this thing, you know, I could just do it like that just so it's more leveled off at the top. But normally what I would have, what I was trying to say is that on my other rig with my 6D Mark II, this would hit the ground evenly, and it would too if I didn't have this plate on it, this little piece here. But I think I'm gonna most likely just, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna leave it on there all the time, but it definitely is beneficial. You wanna pull the legs out. But the point I was getting at with that was, and here I got no nails, was the fact of normally that helps you balance out when you don't have this kind of plate on it. So yeah. So now what we're gonna do is put this adapter on. And what I'm gonna do is, because I always do it like this, is I always face my camera down whenever I do something like this. And the reason why is to dust, not to say it can't float upwards, but I feel like it'd be less likely to float upwards than it would to float downwards, generally speaking. And I usually always do that with my lenses when I put them on. So there we go. And that's gonna just stay attached there all the time because essentially and that's for the ND filter in there. Now I'm just realizing something too. If I have the ND filter in there and I have this cage on, I can't remove this unless I take it off. So that's kind of sucks a little bit. Let's see, this is the button to remove. Okay, there's the button to remove it off, but you can see it won't come all the way out. So yeah. Now, most of the time, if I'm going to be using this, I shouldn't have to worry about it. I could take the whole thing off to do that. But if I say I wanted to have the clear one in there, then, you know, that would be a thing where it would be a thing. So I'm probably not going to put the clear one that often, but I just want you guys to see that and know that this, the ND filter doesn't really pull out with this thing here. So it's just something to be mindful of. And while we're here, I'm going to put on my lens. This right here is the 51.2 EF. There we go. You got this here. So we got two parts going on here. So that's interesting having that. But yes, one's for the lens and one is for the body. Okay, so I'll throw my hood on last. Now comes my NATO rail, which you've got this piece here. And it's interesting because you could see here on the top that they have this piece here too. So it looks like it's almost like enhanced reinforcement. Now, let me see something. Does this slide on directly? It does. I don't even need to use the NATO rail. That's interesting. I could, but I don't need to. Now, I'm going to tell you why I'm going to regardless. Because even though that is nice for the compatibility, if this was to unscrew, it could fall off. This secures it where it can't come off this rod. Even if this thing got loose, it can't come off there. So for that level of security, I'm going to throw this on, assuming that it fits, and it does. And once again, this, which fits underneath here by magnet, by the handle, I love keeping that, having that on hand, because this one came with its own Allen key, but you know, you don't want to carry it if it can't actually attach to the rig itself in some way. So we're gonna do this. And what's great is, even though all this stuff works with my other one, the cage that I just showed you, the truth is I'm gonna now only use my 6D for photos. I'll still prefer using that, even though this is newer, has a better, newer sensor. I like an old school SLR. It's just my vibe, but this is gonna be my primary video and I'm fine with that. And so all the cage stuff for the most part could just stay on this all the time. There we go, that's tightened on there. So for you guys, like I said, who aren't familiar with it, I'm sure a lot of you may be, but the good thing about having this, I'm gonna have the link in the description for this one as well. I forget what I paid for it. I think it might have been 20 something dollars, $25 or something like that. Is it comes with the NATO rail, and this will not, even if this was to loosen, it can't bypass that, and it can't fall on this side either because of that little gold piece right there. So essentially, that's something that I don't have to worry about. This right here, normally when it leaned on it, it didn't loosen because it would be on the floor. But now I feel like it might loosen. So I got to see about that. And then this right here goes right inside there, if you guys can see that. And it's nice because of the magnets. You could put it any orientation. That hole, put it in this one thing there. So that's cool. I'm enjoying these little feet things. That's what I wanted that for. And I love that I could do that. This right here was also, oops, for the monitor piece. And I don't need to have that on right now, but I like, that would normally go up here. I'm not planning on getting a monitor, at least no time soon. I don't even know if I feel like having one or not, but I'm just gonna throw it on there. Originally what I bought that for actually was if I wanted to attach a light to my setup. And that would be to hold a light, but it was a big light that I wanted to hold on it that had no business being on the camera. And that was my mindset. So, and then this right here is supposed to be for, I think, the mics, because obviously you can't get them on that spot right there or wherever. So we'd be able to throw this here. Let me just tighten that and throw that in there for now. And attach as so. I will throw, this is the Rode video mic. It's the one that doesn't require power. So it may not be all that great, but you know, it was a staple for a lot of people. I'm seeing my handle over there is creating weight that's lifting this up a little bit, throwing things a little off balance. I really don't like this mic hole right here. You guys, let's see, I'm gonna lift this up so you guys can see. It looks like it doesn't have a lot of room to fit in there as flush as I would like. So hopefully this is not like a problem, but I definitely do not want to have any kind of issues with that. And already I'm not a fan of that right there. I'm not a fan of that at all. There we go. See, I actually there we go. I got it in there now, but it wasn't easy. And I could see that being something that breaks off over time. So that part sucks, but I just want this thing to look in its full glory so you guys can get an idea of how things are looking. And let's see here. There we go. Take all this to the side. I'm gonna put this down here. My mic box. And what I'm going to do now is just, let's turn this on. These things are annoying me right now, the legs on this thing, so I'm gonna move them in really quick. There's a lot of settings we're gonna have to look into changing and stuff like that, but let's see. I can't see anything right now, and it's probably because of this neutral density filter, so there we go. Brighten that up. We got the ND filter on there. This is probably more of a pain than it is a benefit right now, so I'm gonna take this off. I just wanted you guys to see how that looks and that you guys will be able to have the option to get that as well if you want. I definitely gotta do something about this screen turning off like that. Standby low res. Okay, the best of my knowledge, I'm not recording right now. Let's see the 160, and then we're gonna do that. But see, here we go, ISO. And what's controlling this thing? Because it looked like it had its own dial from there, but now you got I'm sorry, let me first show you guys that. The 3 ISOs, these are like the baselines that are supposed to make it, you know, like better in terms of more, well, I can register them. So I think the clean ones they said is, I think it's 800 and it's 30, is 6400 maybe? So there we go right there. Are we focusing? I think I'm too close to focus. So I want to just show you guys that it's focusing. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, let's pull this back a little bit. And matter of fact, let's move this up a little bit so you guys can see, and let's try this record mode, see what we got going on here. So now we are recording. And let's give us something else that we can maybe focus on. All right, just showing that it works. I'm not too familiar with all these things. I got to get familiar with all this mirrorless stuff. And there we go. Finished recording. I got to learn all the ins and out on this stuff, but I'm happy to have it. I'm happy to have the extra batteries, like I said, so that way it's a kind of a low profile kind of rig setup where I don't have one of those big batteries. I don't think that's my style. I get some people are on that kind of game, but I'm not that over the top professional type. So that is that. Just want to show that it works. That is the rig. This is the new rig. So I'm gonna see what I can get into and use it for bass recording and stuff like that, especially when I do talking headshots. But that is it, you guys. Let me know what you guys think. Let me do just a quick run through once again. So obviously the cage is a must have. That's like goes without saying. I'm gonna pull the mic off really quick just so we can see things better, because it's definitely very much this other way. So of all the new things, and I'm gonna include the old things I have too, just so you guys can, like I said, because those things are gonna be, I'm gonna put them in the link in the description regardless as well. So the cage is obviously very important when you have this setup. That is the number one thing. The plate on the bottom, I really always wanted that. Oh, look at that. I just realized something. Look at that, this right here. I didn't even see that until just now. And if you can get your hand inside there, which of course I cannot, you would be able to pull that out. There's an Allen key right there to tighten this up really good if you need to. That to me, I definitely recommend, because like I said, if you ever right now, it's just having a plate allows it to be steady anyway. But if you needed to, and the thing's very heavy, you could pull out the little legs. But so that's nice. I always thought that was good, because every time I pull out the, lay down my camera, it's always wobbling or whatever the case is, or leaning forward. And let me close that up. Top handle obviously goes without saying. You're going to want to have that. You may not need this piece here, but it's up to you if you're the type using a monitor. Side handle, I feel like you could, this setup, I think it's always good to have a side handle, but you may not always need it. In this case, you could put it on this side if you are holding that side, which works good. But if you're filming yourself, then obviously you would flip the monitor out, but then you wouldn't even need this, because if you are filming yourself while it's on a tripod, you're all good. Some kind of microphone. I'm not saying you got to get this one, but this is more of like a, you don't want to worry about batteries, but it's not going to be the best sound quality. Obviously, if you're going to use a lav mic, you would know how to attach that and do what you got to do. So that is in itself one thing. Because, and that's what this is for too. If you need to connect, like say your lav mic over here, and it slides in. It's supposed to slide in easy, but apparently it's not sliding in easy at all, but you don't got to push it all the way in. There is I thought that was like a fabricy material, but it's not. But yeah, things don't slide inside there that easy, but nonetheless, you know, wherever you could find a spot to put your mic, you can. So, but obviously if you have a top handle, you could put the mic coming this way as well, which is actually not a bad option too. Just putting it like this, that's actually a really good option, because it puts it more forward facing. So that's actually really good. So obviously that, and yeah, that is the setup. There's nothing else I don't think that I forgot. So that is the basic setup for the rig. You guys, any questions you have, put it down below. Like I said, I am happy to have something that I can really grow with, and finally coming over. I'm not necessarily coming over to the mirrorless like in this perspective, like, oh, I'm so happy I'm going to mirrorless. I'm just happy though that I have a more modern body for filming, because I needed something a little bit more better equipped for this space. Let me know your thoughts down below, you guys. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.